Hey, welcome back, watch fans. Today we're talking about MB&F. MB&F, is that the new Richard Mille? Um, it got me thinking. I was driving up the 101 in California, up right by Silicon Valley. I was And listen, the great thing about California is you got these beautiful drives. Well, ideally, you want to go up the PCH. The from LA to San Francisco. Passing through Big Sur. That's the ideal one. But anyway, 101 is okay. And I was driving up to San Francisco. Had a nice road trip last week. I was going to San Francisco, and right as I'm heading up towards I don't know, is it like Redwood City, whatever? Like, I mean, basically the heart of Silicon Valley. Anybody that's driven up there, you see all these billboards on the 101. They're all like billboards advertising like AI, biotech. I mean, you do feel like you're in a completely different world. I mean, it's totally different. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting environment. Even though you're just on that highway, but you feel like you're kind of in the center of where things are happening. It's kind of quite interesting. I mean, the highway itself is quite banal. But anyway, I'm driving up the road there, and, you got all these billboards for, AI services, for, some biotech, this or that. And then I see a billboard for MB&F, which is crazy. I was actually shocked. So again, you got to realize this. I mean, this is a billboard on a highway, major highway, in the San Francisco Bay Area, and these things are expensive, right? So ideally, if you're advertising on a highway billboard, it's got to be something that appeals to the mainstream. So I would think if they're going to have a watch, it'll be like a Rolex. Traditionally Rolex. You see Rolex billboards, everywhere, right? And this was an ad showing an MB&F perpetual, and I think it was maybe the Legacy machine or whatever. It was, I think, a co-op from Steven Silver Watches, which Steven Silver, I've actually never been in their shop, but it's I think they specialize in a lot of independent brands. They're a watch dealer in right in Silicon Valley. They're an authorized dealer for a lot of brands. Obviously, MB&F is one of them, right? I think they also do what the hell's the name? Like Armin Strom and Groy Belforce, that type of stuff. So like very high end stuff. Maybe even Richard Mille. I don't know. But when I saw that billboard in, again, Silicon Valley, I mean, this is not a replay, my friend. So when I see this billboard in Silicon Valley, I realized something. I mean, to me, seeing that billboard kind of said, wow, you know what? These guys are basically, again, Steven Silver. I mean, who's their market? Their market is, people in the tech industry mostly, affiliated to the tech industry, whether it's guys, at tech firms, startups, whatever, VCs, people in that ecosystem, if you will. And, normally, again, traditionally, these guys would have been buying, I don't know, Rolex, whatever. And, they're not really, I wouldn't say these guys are style, trendsetters. But, what's interesting is these days, like a watch, that's right, even in the era of the Apple Watch, wearing something like this on your wrist is, look, it's a statement, right? And the thing with Silicon Valley, the tech industry, it's really no different than any other industry, whether it's Hollywood, whether it's, Wall Street, whatever, right? Fashion industry, music industry, I don't know, the military industrial complex, the military. Okay, every place has its kind of hierarchy of, status, right? And what is the watch you wear to get the status? Okay, I know it sounds shallow, but it's true. Even these guys who claim to be like very non-materialistic, even these military guys, the Sean Ryans of the world, the Sean Ryan guy that's on YouTube, and all these guys, these military guys, the Navy SEALs and all that. Those guys love Rolex, right? And the Rolex GMT, the Submariner, in that world, that's the hierarchy. By the way, I saw Sean Ryan interviewing Donald Trump. Guess what was on his wrist? Sean Ryan was wearing a gold, full yellow gold Sky Dweller. I couldn't tell if the dial was the blue dial. I think it was a green, blue, whatever it was. Couldn't tell, but it was. I was shocked. I'm surprised the guy would wear yellow gold, because that's a little bit flashy. That's pretty flashy. But you know what? It's appropriate. It's appropriate. Listen, I mean, Trump is a yellow gold guy. Trump is the guy that invented yellow gold almost, right? I mean, all his logos were yellow gold, Trump Tower, all that stuff in the 80s. So Trump definitely appreciated that watch. So Sean Ryan is a very smart guy, and he wore the right watch for that interview. the Sky Duel. I mean, it's a big yellow gold watch. I guarantee you, Trump was impressed. I don't think Trump is a watch guy, really. I know he's got some watch, but he's not a watch guy. And I guarantee you, Trump asked him about the watch. But anyhow, we're talking about MB&F today, right? So again, in the military, the hierarchy is, people wear Rolex, GMT, or Submariner. That's like shows that you're like you've arrived. I don't know. Let's say Hollywood. I don't know what the watch in Hollywood is or whatever. I don't. But here's the thing: in the tech space, it's kind of a weird market. The tech space is kind of weird because, traditionally these guys, they don't want to be seen as flashy. Like, they try to appear like humble or whatever. Like, Mark Zuckerberg wears the stupid T-shirts. These guys all try to do the Steve Jobs type of thing, right? But these guys, they don't have any original style, right? They're all followers, basically, right? They're all followers. So if somebody like a Steve Jobs starts wearing the black turtleneck, they all try to copy that. So you got the guy from NVIDIA, the guy who wears the black leather jackets. You had that Elizabeth Holmes started doing the black turtle. These guys, they're followers, right? The followers. They're sheep. So the question is, what's the watch to wear in Silicon Valley? If you're a tech guy, if you're a VC or a tech guy, whatever it is, right? I think it has to be an independent watch. You can't do Rolex because Rolex is too obvious. It's too traditional. Rolex is it's like your grandfather's watch. Definitely not Patek. Definitely not a Nautilus. Definitely not an Aquanaut. You want something which is very high tech. It helps if it's expensive, right? It's got to be exclusive, and it's got to scream innovation. And the only watch that does that, I really believe, is either Richard Mille or MB&F. Okay, MB&F. We get the perpetual calendar here, and I think that was the watch that was on the billboard. And it's definitely not FP Journe, okay? I mean, I'll tell you what, if I met a guy running a startup or something, or I don't know, tech guy, wore an FP Journe watch, I would, to me, that says, okay, the guy's, done. He's basically, I mean, FP Journe is, I know he's innovative, right? But this is very traditional. It doesn't tell me that you're an innovator. You think outside the box. This, to me, okay, this is going in the right direction. Yeah, this is going in okay. Yeah, this is definitely in the right direction. Wow, interesting, right? Armin Strom. So the question is, has MB&F replaced Richard Mille as kind of the king of innovation? I mean, like Richard Mille kind of had that. That was their brand. That was their kind of brand as like innovative. The problem with RM is people associate Richard Mille with douchebags. It's the douchebag crypto bro watch. Very flashy, very in your face. Uh, Everybody knows what it is now. It might be becoming a victim of its own success. Whereas MB&F is, I mean, look at this watch. What the hell is this? I don't even know what this is. Honestly, what is this? It's a chronograph, flyback, sequential flyback chronograph. By the way, I have no idea what that is. I'm not. I actually don't like chronographs. I don't want to know about chronographs. Well, I might be kind of intrigued, but this is not a watch I would wear. But look at this design. I mean, and I had one of these on my wrist. I think I had it might have been the Perpetual or whatever, but it's quite a presence on the wrist. It really makes a big statement. It's a very big watch on the wrist. I think it's like 42 millimeter. And it's kind of in your face. Now, they also do these weird watches, which I think are ugly and disgusting. The Mad One or whatever. I don't get it. Listen, I'm a fan of the brand in a way. But, some of their stuff is a little too out there for me. The thing, though, is that I think what we're seeing happen now is that, that billboard I saw in Silicon Valley made me realize that this is the watch that you wear if, you're kind of like, a guy running a unicorn startup, like you got a unicorn startup that's, may have a billion dollar valuation. Maybe you can pull out some cash and borrow against your shares or whatever. Sell some on the secondary market. You pull out some cash, and what do you buy? You buy an MB&F. Why? Because nobody knows what that watch is unless people who really know. Nobody knows it's $100,000 watch, right? Plus. The only people who know it's a six-figure watch are people who know watches, right? It doesn't look like people. It doesn't look like an Audemars Piguet, a Royal Oak, any of that stuff. Nobody knows what this is except for the people who know. But at the same time, if you're like some random tech guy and you see your boss wearing this watch or whatever, you say, wow, that's a pretty cool watch. Like, what the hell is that? I mean, that really is. And, people who are in technology, they like this type of stuff. They like engineering, innovation. They do appreciate it. So you wear a watch like this and, you're going to get respect versus, scowls. Now look at this. Wow. I don't know. That's pretty nice. Wow, look at that. You got a rubber strap. It comes in this crazy case. By the way, I have an MB&F. I got the Rocket MB&F. Loop system MB&F on my desk. I mean, you could just look at this watch for hours. I mean, you're getting a lot of entertainment value from this watch. The Keystone, that's the guys from Loop This. By the way, Loop This, you're on the blacklist. We're not reviewing any of your auctions anymore. Bunch of fucking deadbeats. Don't return calls, emails. Eric Koo, whatever his name is. Go fuck yourself, Eric Koo. Hang on, what is his name? I'll tell you what his name is. What is this prick's name? Eric Koo? Whatever. I don't know. Whatever. And the other guy, whatever. Fuck them where they breathe, okay? Let's talk about this. Why are we promoting those guys? Okay, so we got MB&F perpetual calendar, and look at the variety you get. You get these nice colors, right? So, I mean, this is very commercial. Now, what are the prices like? They're not cheap. These things are not cheap. They are pricey. All right, what are we talking? The Legacy machine. Wow. $200 grand plus. That's real money. I mean, that's Richard Mille money. The question is, what would you buy? I mean, listen, if you had the choice, which would you buy? Would you buy the RM or would you buy the MB&F? And I think the market is actually shifting. I think the market has shifted. I'm willing to bet that the people who would have been buying RM are now moving to MB&F. Why? Because, I would say the early buyers of RM are now the buyers of MB&F, because it's the more innovative brand, it's more unique. Richard Mille is kind of a one-trick pony. They got that one-trick design, with a tonneau case. I don't know. Richard Mille is relatively, RM it's a one-trick pony. And I think, again, it's got that stigma. Again, it's very bad for a brand when you develop a stigma of being associated with a certain demographic, right? And the demographic that buys Richard Mille today is, it's not a place it's not a market I'd want to be associated with, frankly. It's not a market that, it's basically douchebags, crypto bros. And I don't think that's what they wanted. I think originally Richard Mille was trying to be like an innovative, out there type of thing, but it got co-opted by the wrong people. So they're a victim of their own success. MB&F is really, I think, kind of where it's at now. This is kind of what the the cool kids are going to be wearing now, because look, you don't need. I mean, if you're buying one of these watches, for $200,000, you don't really need to impress anybody, right? I mean, I don't think you're trying to impress people. I mean, anybody who buys a watch like this, yes, they're making a statement. Yes, obviously, it's a thing. But the only people who know what this is are other watch people. This is not a watch that anybody on the street will think is a $100,000 watch. They're going to think it's like a $50 watch or something. It's something you got from, I don't know, like a Cracker Jack box or something like that. People don't know about this. This is crazy. Wow. I don't even know what's going on with this watch. I mean, it's like a domed. By the way, this is like a domed case. It's a GMT, right? Or a dual time, I should say, which is great. Let's take a look at this. Wow. So that's the problem with the watch, right? The problem is, how do you wear this watch? Look at that dome. It's a massive dome. It's probably like an inch tall. I mean, this is not a watch you wear to be subtle. I mean, you wear this watch, everybody knows that you got something on your wrist. Again, they don't know what it is, and most people will have no idea of the value, which is good, right? Because again, you're running a $1 billion+ tech company. You don't want the lower level employees to know you're wearing a $100,000 watch, because then they're going to ask you for a raise. You know how it goes, right? They're not going to know what that is. But I guarantee you that the investors you meet with, they're going to know what that is. There you go. Look at this crazy stuff. I mean, I don't know. Okay, so the question is, so if you're going to buy a MB&F, what is the watch to get? What is the model to get? Which is the model that is going to have staying power? The one that's going to increase in value, okay? Because that's what this channel is all about. How do you make money with MB&F? Right? I don't know what the answer is. What do you think of this case design? That's a beautiful case design. It's got a little bit of the code 1159. They're all doing this type of thing. a lot of the independents are doing some variation of this type of case shape. And the rubber strap, that's not original. Hugh Blow was doing rubber straps in 1980. They were the first guys doing rubber straps, and they don't get credit for that, actually. But this is this is interesting. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What if you were to get an MB&F? What would you get? What would your choice be? I would say, again, if it was you're asking me, whoa, this is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen this. This is with it's an MB&F with pave dime. Oh, it's out there. I don't associate the brand with diamonds. Okay, so to me, this is wrong. This is like completely wrong. It goes against the grain of the brand, kind of like kind of what they're known for. And one thing, again, the thing that they do is they do a lot of really interesting innovation. A lot of they experiment a lot. They take a lot of chances. By the way, this is their website. Their website is very basic. I mean, it's not that impressive. Not that impressive at all. It's kind of like so they make these clocks. I mean, they take a lot of chances, which is something you need to. I respect that. Yeah. Wow. How do you tell the time? Does it matter? Apparently, you got to lift up the watch. You got to turn it at an angle. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, these things are really. What is it about? I don't know what it's about. It's. Let's take a look.
I've been creating just for myself for 14 years. And at some point in my life, I realized my only family was my mother, my wife, and my daughter, now 2 daughters. And I realized it's time to get out of my comfort zone. It's time that I create something for a woman. And I realized that I have no idea what a woman wants. And so it was a big ordeal to create something that way. And finally, what really made it is that I stopped thinking, what would they like? And I actually projected on this piece what I love in the women of my life.
Okay. Honestly, I can't imagine any woman wearing this watch. I mean, this guy's basically, this guy's clueless. I mean, all respect, the guy's a genius and everything else. But, I mean, this is like, it's very difficult. I think it's very difficult for a man to buy a woman, for most men to buy a woman a gift that she will actually like, a present she will like, right? Because, most men have no idea. Listen, I'm talking like, you can't buy your wife or your girlfriend a watch. Generally, most 99% of guys who buy their wife or their girlfriend a watch are going to get it wrong because they're thinking of what they like, not what, she will wear, because, it's a whole different thing, right? Women are thinking about what looks good on them, right? What clothes are going to wear. It's a totally different mindset. No woman, I can't imagine any woman wanting to wear this watch. Honestly, this looks like I wouldn't even. It's like a
Flying T embodies everything.
But I would say it's like a nerdy man's. It's no woman will want to wear this watch. I mean, this is a big mistake. I mean, if his wife wears this watch, she's doing it. She doesn't want to hurt his feelings. I mean, most women will want to wear, I don't know, either like a very feminine looking watch like that, or they're going to want to wear like a Rolex Daytona two-tone, which is like, kind of, the boss babe watch, something like that. Maybe a Royal Oak. They're not going to wear this.
I love in my mother, everything I love in my wife, everything I love in my daughters. It's energy and elegance. We're launching Flying T in a diamond set version. Originally, there was a lot of...
So here's one of the problems, right? Like, this is interesting. It's an interesting point, right? The reason why, like, you see a lot of women like wearing a Rolex Daytona now is, yeah. No, the reason you see a lot of women wearing Rolex Daytonas, you see like a lot of MILFs wearing the Daytonas, is because, day to day, let's say you're like a mom, right? Or something, right? You kind of, whatever, you're like a boss babe, whatever it is, right? You got kids and whatever, you got your career, your mother, the whole bullshit thing, right? The reality is, you want to watch it, can take a bit of a beating. Let's say you're changing diapers, you're chasing after little kids, you're cooking, you're driving minivans, I don't know, whatever, whatever it is you're doing, right? Yeah, the watch is going to take abuse, right? But also you want something that looks good. A Rolex Daytona does that. It's got that like kind of look to it. This is a very delicate watch. You can't
debate internally.
It's got this dome that's going to get destroyed like, in an afternoon. And you can't wear this you're not going to wear this to the opera, okay? You're not wearing this to a black tie event. You're not wearing, I mean, it's just too bulky. It's too out,
Should we with diamonds, without diamonds?
Look at this.
Diamonds. We're putting it.
Massive dome. Come on, no woman is going to wear that. Sorry. I mean, again, this guy's thinking like like a guy. Oh, I put diamonds on. I put diamonds on it. Women love it. Sorry, why do I have to? Why do I have to explain how women think? I mean, I'm not a woman. What the fuck? But I don't know. Do we have any women watching this? If we do have a female audience, I think they would agree with this.
With diamonds, because it's saying this is the first woman's dedicated MB&F. We didn't want to be any idea that, maybe it's a unisex watch, which of course economically or business-wise would have been very smart. But
I guess it's a bit of a sexist statement to say that only women appreciate diamonds, right? I mean, this is not a politically correct these days, right? Guy probably... I mean, but this is how the Swiss watch industry thinks. Hey, we need to make a woman's watch. Oh, okay, let's just put some diamonds on it. Let's just put some bling on it. These hoes, they don't know any better. Just make it shiny object. I mean, that's what Patek Philippe is saying. Hey, it could be a quartz shitter. Hey, just put some diamonds on it. These bitches don't know any better. I mean, that's basically what they're saying, right? The Swiss watch industry.
I didn't want that. I wanted it to be a declaration. It's diamond set, it's for women, even though I know, for example, my wife probably will not wear a diamond set version. Flying T is an experiment. It's to see if I actually could go down that road, which I was very scared.
By the way, here's the thing that's impressive, right? These guys, they take chances, they take risks. That is what's impressive about this brand. Okay, so yeah, I'm giving him a little bit of, trolling a little bit about this. This is a disaster for women's watch. Come on, that's a disaster. But the fact that they're willing to do it, okay, great. I mean, they're willing to take chances. They do innovative stuff. That's what makes this brand very, very special, and this makes this the brand to watch. This is the next Richard Mille, in my opinion.
And I actually love what we've done. So of course, now that we've created this, we're going to make it live.
Yeah, I can't imagine any woman. I mean, listen, any woman who's going to spend money on a watch like that with diamonds, who's got any taste or any style, would get a Royal Oak, one of the Royal Oaks. Well, look at this, and they make these clocks, which is really cool. They make these clocks in conjunction with the what do you call it? Lepe. That's the brand. So who else does that? I mean, who else makes crazy clocks like this? Look at this. These are not cheap, by the way. These are pricey. I mean, these guys are really creative geniuses. They got this rocket destination. Oh, I got this. This is what I have on my desk. It's like a giant cock. Look at this. So it's a rocket, and these things open up there, and you put the loop in there. Oh, okay. Oh, they got a video on this? Yeah, that's what I got. Lots. Lots. Exactly. Oh, exactly. 100%. Hermes, Cartier, that's what they want. Give them what they want. You know, the funny thing is, I bought this thing at. So I bought the rocket at Watches of Switzerland in Vegas at the Wynn, and they give it to you in this black case, right? Which looks kind of suspicious, right? So, and it's very heavy, by the way. It weighs like, I don't know, 30 pounds probably. So I'm walking out of Watches of Switzerland, in the Wynn, and I'm carrying this case. They got a lot of security there. They have very good security. The Wynn runs like a Swiss clock. It's unbelievable. So one of these guys, the security guys, comes up to me and says, "Hey, can I see what you have there? Can you open that up?" So I said, "Yeah. Why don't you open it?" I was just fucking with him a little bit. No, I open. He opens it up, and he sees this thing, and he's like, "What the hell is it?" Because it looks like it could be like a bomb, right? It looks like it could be like, what the hell is this? It looks like some sort of, I had the little tag there, so I explained to him it's I bought next door. So this costs about $2,000. It's worth every penny, by the way. I couldn't figure out how to do that. There's a way, I guess you stick that on your smartphone or something, and you can use the loop to. I couldn't figure out how to use that. So it's a limited edition, 99. So I think actually, listen. I mean, I'm not pitching this as an investment, but I think for $2,000 or whatever it is, 25, whatever the number is, these things actually I think will have upside potential because MB&F is, again, it's a brand on the that's ascendant, and this is what they're known for. I think it's a good value for $2,000. You're getting, and you get the loops. By the way, those magnifying things are very, very good, and they're actually expensive in their own right. They go for I think $600 or $800 a piece. So think about it. So these guys, MB&F, so they created all these clocks, right? So again, they are so versatile that they come up with all these different designs, these robots, all this crazy stuff. So I think they're going to do very well with kind of that tech market because a lot of these guys, they like these little gimmicks. They like they collect these figurines like Star Wars bullshit or whatever. And I think this is going to be something that will have long-term appeal for that market. Yeah, so MB&F, I think they're doing the right job. They know their market, and they are definitely going to, yes, again, a very, let's see what else. Yeah, their whole thing is very unique, right? It's kind of like a unique sensibility. Now, would I ever buy an MB&F watch? Absolutely not. I would never buy an MB&F watch. Never. It's just not my thing. But I respect the brand. I mean, I really like what they're doing. It's just not for me. It's kind of like saying, the Ferrari, is a beautiful car. I think the Ferrari makes a beautiful car. I just wouldn't buy one. I don't need to like squeeze into like a little thing and go 300 miles an hour. I'd rather be comfortable and go 300 miles an hour. So let's see here. But this is again, these guys are so much more. What's the word I'm looking for? They are so much more interesting than Richard Mille. I mean, they really have. It's like a real sensibility. It's like a whole different universe. Yeah, look at this. But I mean, if I were to buy a perpetual calendar for $100,000 plus, I would go for a Royal Oak. I wouldn't buy this. Now the question is, will this have staying power? I don't know. I mean, I think look, this thing is so out there. It's gonna look. It's gonna, it's not a dated design. The only thing I don't like, to be honest, I don't like the fonts that they use. This is kind of a little bit. The fonts that they have are not. To me, they're not innovative. I mean, the watch is innovation, but why would you use this kind of basic font? I think they're, this is a very basic kind of serif font. Yeah, this is a bad choice. I mean, and by the way, you know what? The font, it makes a difference. I think these guys kind of, they're very engineering oriented. Obviously, they're very engineering focused. The aesthetics, obviously, they're into, but I don't think they're as focused on the aesthetics. And so I think they're missing a big opportunity by not having a unique font, because what you're seeing here over this. Let me see. Let me zoom in. I mean, the fonts that you see here and these numbers and the letters. I mean, this is very basic. I mean, this is not something that I want to see on a $200,000 watch. I don't want to see some basic fonts. I want to see something innovative, maybe even customized. Sans serif. I don't know. These are very, that turns me off, to be honest. So Buff. Exactly. That's exactly the point. So basically, the guy who's buying this watch, I don't know if you tuned in. When I opened the show, but I was saying the thing that got me really thinking about MB&F was last week I was, in Silicon Valley. I'm driving up the 101, and they got all these billboards, for different stuff there, AI, biotech stuff, and there's usually a billboard for like Rolex, and This one was, and this one had an MB&F watch on it, had the MB&F perpetual calendar on it, which is shocking. So there's a billboard right in the heart of Silicon Valley for MB&F from Steven Silver Jewelers. That's the AD. And so they are definitely appealing to that market. And definitely, there's definitely a connection. I mean, a guy like Bezos, well, actually, no, Bezos is, I don't know, Bezos has gone in a different direction, but I think one of these guys would most likely buy an MB&F versus a Richard Mille or something else like that, or like a Royal Oak or any of that stuff, because they want to have something that's really unique, something that obviously is very it's got the technological thing, but at the same time nobody else knows what it is, right? These guys are not flashy, generally speaking, right? They don't need people to know that they're wearing a $100,000 watch. And this thing does it. This thing is the this gives you everything you want. So anyway, those are some of my thoughts on the world of MB&F. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. Let me see, before we wrap up, make sure that you click the like, subscribe button, subscribe to our free weekly newsletter, and we'll see you on the next one.